UK.
South Korea's spy agency says that North Korea is sending troops to support Russia's war against Ukraine. The agency says at least 1,500 North Korean special forces are training in far eastern Russia, with thousands more to be deployed. The move would bring a third country into the war and further intensify a standoff between North Korea and the West. ABC's Patrick Reevell has the latest.
Hi, Alex. A disturbing and major development in the war in Ukraine. South Korean intelligence today has said that North Korea is preparing to deploy 4 brigades, numbering up to 12,000 troops to fight for Russia. It says they include special forces and that 1,500 soldiers have already arrived in Russia and that they are now training at 2 military bases in Russia's Far East. Now, according to South Korea's National Intelligence Agency, they've been given Russian uniforms and weapons, as well as fake IDs. North Korea has already been supplying huge numbers of shells and significant numbers of missiles to Russia. Ukrainian officials have said that they expect the first North Korean troops will likely be deployed to Russia's Kursk region to help drive Ukrainian troops from there. Russia has denied that this is taking place, but if it is obviously a serious development. Ukraine's President Zelensky yesterday even describing it as a first step towards a world war. It remains to be seen yet exactly what role North Korean troops will play, but the fear ultimately is that if they are indeed deploying, then this could also just be the beginning and that the number of North Korean troops could grow. Alex?
All right, Patrick, thank you.
So we know about 10,000 soldiers of North Korea that they are preparing to send fight against us. And here we see this first step in this war, and this is the first step to a world war. Of course, it's understandable.
그렇죠. 조그마한 어떤 또 충돌이 있을 시에는 러시아가 지금 어려울 때 그 북한에 뭐 무기라든지 그렇게 했는데 받았는데 우리나라하고 조그만 충돌이 있어도 그 러시아가 개입을 할 것 같아요. 그랬을 때는 참 위험한 일이죠, 그게.
Whether North Korea is indeed or not supporting Russia's illegal war in Ukraine.
The head of NATO on Tuesday warned that the transfer of North Korean troops to fight for Russia in Ukraine would be what he called a significant escalation.
If they would be sending troops to Ukraine, that would mark a significant escalation. That would really be important.
Secretary General Mark Rutte was in Estonia for meetings with NATO members and said he didn't yet have confirmation Pyongyang had deployed soldiers to assist Moscow's fight. It's the latest warning that North Korea may soon step directly or indirectly into the conflict on the side of Russia. Here's the UK Defence Minister speaking in Parliament on Tuesday.
It is now highly likely that the transfer of hundreds of combat troops from North Korea to Russia has begun.
The Kremlin on Monday declined to directly answer a question on whether North Korean troops were going to fight in Ukraine. A Kremlin spokesman said Moscow's cooperation with Pyongyang was not directed against third countries. It's been more than 2 years since Russian forces stormed into Ukraine in what Moscow called a special military operation. But tenacious defenders armed with Western weaponry drove back the initial onslaught, and what appeared intended to be a quick conquest turned into a long and bloody war. Moscow has been forced to supplement its military with new conscripts to sustain the fight. The latest reports suggest it may now be looking beyond its own borders for soldiers. South Korea's spy agency said last week that North Korea had shipped 1,500 Special Forces troops to Russia's Far East for training at military bases, and that they were likely to be deployed for combat in Ukraine. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has accused Pyongyang of preparing to send as many as 12,000 soldiers to Russia.
In its failure to overthrow Ukraine's democratically elected government, Russia is seeking to expand the conflict.
The U.S. Deputy Envoy to the United Nations told the Security Council on Monday it had seen reports that North Korean soldiers could soon join the fight.
If true, this marks a dangerous and highly concerning development.
The notion of North Korean soldiers fighting a Russian war on European soil prompted this response from the president of Finland.
Well, I think we're just seeing how desperate Russia is. I mean, pose the question to anyone in the world, would you like to have North Korean soldiers fighting on your side? And the answer is probably no.
South Korea's Deputy National Security Advisor said on Tuesday that Seoul would consider countermeasures, which could mean directly supplying lethal weapons to Kiev in response to closer military ties between Russia and North Korea.
Chinese President Xi Jinping is escalating his push for military dominance, urging China's armed forces to ramp up their preparedness for war. Just days after Beijing's latest show of military might around Taiwan, Xi's visit to the People's Liberation Army rocket force underscored China's aggressive modernization and strategic ambitions. Xi's call to action comes as global military dynamics are shifting rapidly, placing China's security and development needs at the forefront. Last month, China test-launched an intercontinental ballistic missile, firing it into the Pacific Ocean in its first such exercise in decades. Beijing has stepped up its nuclear development and boosted defense spending in recent years. Last October, the Pentagon even warned that China was developing its arsenal quicker than the U.S. had anticipated. The Pentagon says China held over 500 operational nuclear warheads as of May 2023 and is likely to have more than 1,000 by 2030. Xi ordered troops to comprehensively strengthen training and preparation for war and ensure their strategic deterrent and combat capability is robust. He emphasized the urgency of building a powerful military, noting that China's ambitions must evolve in step with a global military revolution. Xi's remarks signal a clear intent to sharpen China's war-fighting edge and achieve military supremacy, both in Asia and beyond. China is rapidly transforming its military into a modern, high-lethal force, investing heavily in advanced weaponry and technology. The overhaul of its command structure aims to strengthen its ability to project power globally. Beijing has also intensified its shows of force around Taiwan that it claims as part of its territory, demonstrating growing military prowess. Earlier this week, China encircled Taiwan with a formidable array of 34 naval vessels, 125 aircraft, and other military assets, signaling its readiness for conflict. This was Beijing's fourth large-scale exercise near the island in just over 2 years. The operation, dubbed Joint Sword 2024B, follows similar drills earlier this year and serves as a stark reminder of China's readiness to back its territorial claims with military force. Beijing has made it clear it will not rule out using force to bring Taiwan under Beijing's control. With each drill, China is sending an unmistakable message to the region and the world. China's military is positioning itself as a formidable global power unwilling to back down.
假想敌是敌军利用夜间视线不良的状况，对我军实施突击登陆。此次操演的目的，在练习官兵熟稔夜间的战场，以及强化夜间作案能力。
In response to months of continuous attacks from the regime in Iran against the State of Israel, right now, the Israel Defense Forces is conducting precise strikes on military targets in Iran. The regime in Iran and its proxies in the region have been relentlessly attacking Israel since October 7th on 7 fronts, including direct attacks from Iranian soil. Like every other sovereign country in the world, the State of Israel has the right and the duty to respond. Our defensive and offensive capabilities are fully mobilized. We will do whatever necessary to defend the State of Israel and the people of Israel.